My terrible parents humiliated my daughter for laughing hysterically while playing her keyboard. I kicked them out and told them this was the reason I was so messed up as a kid. I had my parents over for dinner this weekend, and after my daughter asked if she could play us a song she had been practicing on her keyboard. It wasn't perfect, few missed notes, and a couple of pauses, but she did really well. She looked up at the end, with a massive smile, and I started clapping and my parents started effing laughing. Not just a little chuckle. A massive belly laugh. Both of them. My mom asked if it was her first time playing it and my dad said it had to have been. A dog could have played that better. It was like my daughter was shrinking on the spot and she looked down and said, "No, I've had 2 lessons but doing it with 2 hands is hard," and they just laughed even harder. I just stood up, took their cups, and said, "Leave. Now." My mom tried to say about how they hadn't finished their drinks, they wanted to hear another song and said, "Get your stuff and get out of my house right now." My dad started doing this huffing thing he does when someone dares to speak up to him, and my mom said that there was no need to be like this. That I can't protect her all the time and she's preparing my daughter for the real world. I said it's not teaching the real world, they're just nasty little bullies picking on children, and poop like this is why I was so effed up as a kid. Now leave. They got their stuff and left. I sat with my daughter and explained how proud of her I was and how well she was doing. To ignore them. They were just being cruel because they didn't know any other way to be, and asked if she could please play it again, which she did. On the Sunday I messaged and said that until they can behave like decent human beings we're taking a break away from them. My dad replied that it was my choice, but he didn't realize he raised me to be so precious. Now my lovely brown-nosing, golden child of a sister is getting involved. She phoned me today with my parents' version of events, telling me I was a nasty piece of work and should never speak to my parents that way. That I'm wrapping my child in cotton wool. I just told her to go F herself and hung up. I was and still am angry. I don't think I'd even accept an apology from them at this point. This behavior isn't new, it's decades old. But this is the first time it affected my daughter. I never doubted I was in the right to stand up for my daughter. Just how I went about it. I'm gonna sit and talk with my daughter about it all either tomorrow after school or on the weekend. My parents and sister can just disappear for all I care.